Hey there, Heather. Ho there, everyone. I'm Shut Up James. Welcome to this live discussion 4 minutes late. Hi, apologies. Awesome, great. I was supposed to get out of work at 6. I'm out of breath. I didn't leave work until 6:30 something, and it's about a 20-minute drive from work. It's like a 5-minute drive to walk to my car, 20-minute drive home. So when I tell you, I ran inside, put on the sweater, let Tyler out, fed him, and got this freaking cocktail. I don't even know how much like alcohol to Canada Dry, the ratio, no idea. But here we are. So today, by the thumbnail, if you have not guessed, we're going to talk about Totally Killer, which is the 2023 like horror comedy that came out on Amazon, right? Amazon Prime, streaming now. We watched it. I watched it with you all, right? On this channel, still out of breath. And if you haven't watched that reaction, you should check that out. The link should be in the description down below. I do also want to start by saying that the Face of Horror competition voting has started again. So I will be posting the link for that in the chat, but it's also, again, in the description. Can you see? That's better, right? I think that's better. Or you know what? Maybe like this, but let's get my Amazon Prime packages out of the way, right? It's a little better. My bag isn't. That's fine. So how is everyone? How are we? Hello in the chat. I'm going to find that description. I'm going to find that link. So 2 different links. We've got Totally Killer movie reaction there. And then we've got the Face of Horror competition. Bam. You know what to do. So, Totally Killer. You know what? Before I even get started, I now know the ratio. It's lots of... What did I even put in here? I was going to grab an energy drink, but I feel like my residual, like I'm so tired that I'm like, pew, pew, pew. I don't need an energy drink. I need something to like calm me down. So that's what this is. I don't know if I like this angle. Do we like this angle? Is this angle appropriate? But Totally Killer. Well, I guess I'll do a little poll to see who has seen it. I already know at least 1 or 2 people were like, I won't be joining your live because I haven't watched the movie yet. So let me know if you've watched Totally Killer. Now, I'll just start talking about it while people are, voting and doing the things. So Totally Killer. I went into it knowing that it has a similar premise to The Final Girls. Now, The Final Girls, if you're, watching this channel, I loved The Final Girls. Like, I fell in love with that movie immediately. Bawled my eyes out, right? Laughed and chuckled and got scared and cried. So when the trailer for this one came out, I was like, oh, that looks oddly familiar. The director of The Final Girls even was like, this looks familiar. The only thing is The Final Girls goes into an 80s movie, where in Totally Killer, we go into the 80s. So there's a difference, right? I will say the trailer didn't sell this movie very well for me. I thought it just looked fine. It actually looked very much like a cash grab. There were some bright lights, a couple cool shots, but overall I was like, I don't know if this is giving what I want it to give. And I will say if you watch my reaction, you already know that overall, I thought it was fine. There are definitely peak moments. There are moments that are like, this was great. And then there are also moments where I was like, can we move this along? Like, this is really dragging. I'm anxious to hear what you all have to say in the chat. Let me know your thoughts. If you thought it was also, I'm actually seeing no chats at all. Am I behind? I see that there are people watching, but let me know in the chat. Say hi. Even if you're going to leave in 5 seconds, say hi and then leave. So I at least know that my chat is working. Let me see. Chat disconnected. Oh, it says chat disconnected. So how are we going to do this? Huh. Let me see if I can see the chat from like my phone. Like maybe the chat exists and is working, but just not on this screen per se. Live. Oh, Armorger. This is really great to do, right? In the middle of a... Oh, wow. So I can see your chats on my phone. So what I'll do is I'll try to respond on my phone, but I can't see them on the actual, on my desktop. And I'm afraid if I like refresh the page that this live will go away and I can't like do it again. Okay, this is great. I love that. So Jen, yay. Jen says I'm here, but can't really be since I haven't watched the movie yet. Oh, okay. So thank you for jumping on, but you might have to jump off once we start getting into specifics. Lee, hello, Lee. Lee says hi, Jen. Oh my gosh, Christine is here. So I'll have to, this is so fun. I get to look at my phone for the chats because it's not working here. Anyway, so can I see the poll? I don't think the poll even went up. Chrome is done updating. You can use the latest version. This is not ideal. So I put up a poll asking who watched the movie, but I don't see it here, which means y'all don't get to see it. I'm sorry. So let me know. Did you watch? I keep pointing to my computer. Let me know if you've watched the movie. Oh, the poll is on your screen. Okay. I can't even see it. Welcome to live chat. Weird. Anyway, we're not going to dwell on it, I guess. So Totally Killer. It's got the girl from Sabrina. I can't pronounce her name. It's got Julie Bowen, right, from Modern Family. It has the guy from, he's in a bunch of funny things. I don't think he's actually that funny. He's in some of the Marvel movies too. He just has like a weird, dry kind of sense of humor. I think he was in that Blockbuster that Blockbuster show that I only got like 5 minutes in and I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. But he played the sheriff. He played the 80s sheriff. He was in it. Did I recognize anyone else? Maybe I'm just forgetting. But, oh, and then what's his face? The guy from Scary Movie. In the reaction, I posted a clip of him from Scary Movie. Melissa says, saying hi while I'm at work. Hi, Melissa. So it's funny. I have to look down here for the chat, Melissa, because it's not working on my computer. So here we are. Totally Killer was a fun slasher comedy, says Lee. Yes, it was fun. Oh God, I forgot. Ugh, it's Malibu. It's Malibu. It's that rum stuff. I just like went blah 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 blah, and then ran. Was there a noise? This is not it, y'all. What a day. But yeah, I ran inside, poured this drink, ran upstairs, out of breath. So whoever started watching this, apologies for me being like, hi. But okay, Totally Killer. Lee says it was a fun comedy slasher situation. I did think it was fun. I feel bad comparing it to The Final Girls. I'm not comparing it to the movie. Like, I'm not going to compare them structurally. They're different premises, different actors, made at different times. I am going to compare them to how they both had me, like how I felt at the end of watching them. And I was so satisfied with watching The Final Girls from start to finish. And I left that movie being like, I want to buy this movie right now. Where Totally Killer had some really great moments. Let's talk about the opening, right? But at the end, I was like, okay, cool. Like, I did that, I guess. And then editing was a little bit of a chore because when I edit, I have to watch the movie 30, 40, 50 more times, right? I have to watch it through continually. And I'm very strategic and precise with how I edit to make sure every like millisecond makes sense. Like, I'm not going to just give you guys, schlock. Like, my OCD wouldn't allow it. So after watching it that many times while editing, I'm like, I'm fine with not watching this again. I don't want to own it. I probably don't need to see that again. I was like, I wonder if I should have made it more clear to Moses that this was a movie he should have come watched. No, he would not have enjoyed this movie. So the opening, the introduction of the story of what happened, and we find out it's the podcast guy, and I was like, that's cute. Love that. Very meta, adorable. The girl with the handing out the slider samples or something, and he was like, let's hear it for what's her face who wishes more people were murdered or something. Like, that was funny. I was like, this sets the tone for what we're getting. Then we get the introduction of the Sabrina character. Her name is Jamie. I'm going to say Sabrina just because that's what she's most known for, but her name is Jamie in the movie. And she always gives, right? She's good. Modern Family, she always gives. She's good. I feel like mostly in this movie, Sabrina gave a little more than I was kind of expecting from her, and I was very happy. The guy from Scary Movie gave a lot more than I was expecting because I feel like he's always kind of like an over-exaggeration of himself. Like, whatever the character they tell him to be, he's always like an obnoxiously over-the-top version of that character, and he's not really a standout to me in most of the things he's done. But him playing a like straightforward grieving father, I was like, he was great. Like, why doesn't he do this more? This was perfect for him. I didn't, and anything else I've seen him in, I always just see him as that actor. Like, I think of him and I think, oh, Scary Movie. When I saw his face, I thought, oh, Scary Movie. But then I was completely lost in the fact that he was this other person. I did not think of him as like a caricature at all. Great job. Julie Bowen. We love her anyway, right? We love her because she's amazing in everything that she's done, including especially Modern Family. But I was not ready for how badass, spoilers now, how badass she was going to be in the first 15 minutes of the movie. And the fact that we find out she is our Drew Barrymore, essentially, like the fact that they set up that Jamie is the lead and she's all like butthurt about she can't go to this concert or whatever. And she's like making fun of her mom for her friends being killed, which is pretty trashy. And then they cut back to the mom home alone with the trick-or-treating. And I thought, genuinely going into this movie, I thought, you know what? We're probably going to get like, she goes back in time, blah, 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 blah. The killer's going to follow her back and then give Julie Bowen the chance to kick the killer's ass. And she's going to kill the killer. That's what I thought was going to happen going into it, based on just the trailer, which didn't show too much, thankfully. For the first time ever, Blumhouse, thank you. But that's what I thought. I was like, how badass would that be? And I feel like that's what they're gonna do with it. Well, then they freaking show the killer walk up to her door, and we get one of the best fight sequences I've seen in a horror movie in a long time. I love when like someone's prepared like that. I love that she was like, I've been scared of being murdered since I was 16 years old. You think I wouldn't be ready? Like, whatever. And then they freaking killed her. I was not expecting that. And she went out. She did not go out without a fight, I should say. And she was amazing. Then we find out, Jamie's all sad, and we start getting the relationships with the other, the sheriff and the principal and the coach or this or that, whatever. Her best friend who's making a time machine, and Jamie's just like cool with that. She's just like, yeah, like, I hope your time machine works that you're making. Let me see. I enjoyed this film. Melissa says, I enjoyed this film. Oh, and if you want to watch a great bad horror movie, check out Slaughterhouse. Ooh, I didn't watch the trailer or anything for that. I do want to watch that. It's so absurd and I love it. Yaz says, Blake, Jamie's father, Lachlan Monroe, was also Betty's dad in the show Riverdale. Oh, Riverdale, I never watched it, but I know it's known for bringing like horror people into just period. Like Skeet Ulrich and some other people are in there too. She also says, oh, the dad was in Freddy vs. Jason as the cop. Yes, I remember him being the cop in Freddy vs. Jason. And also on Charmed. Didn't watch Charmed. Don't come for me. Julie Bowen, loved it. Incredible fight scene. I'm 100% with you. Loved it that she was smart, took self-defense. There's something blocking your self-defense, taught her daughter, etc. Like high smart character in a scary movie, then she's dead. Agreed. You don't get smart characters in scary movies often. I mean, we get them more than we used to, but you expect the person who you walk in that, like there's a scary noise and they go, what's that? Which is typical. In real life, when I hear a noise, I'm just like, ugh, whatever. It's not, I'm not going to go investigate right away. But I usually bring a knife just in case. But I've seen one too many scary movies. But for her to have like a gun here and a knife here, and I think at the end when she's crawling, she's actually reaching for a taser, it looks like, is like taped on the wall. And he gets her right before she can get the taser. Loved it. Loved how smart and like how ready she was. And even as ready as she was, still wasn't enough. Which also, now when the ending doesn't really make any sense because, again, spoilers, we're jumping now to the end. When you find out that killer that's killing her, stop listening if you have not seen the movie, but that killer who is killing her is not the killer from the 80s. Once you find that out, and I was having to, again, rewatch 15,000 times to do the editing, I was like, this doesn't make as much sense. Like, how is he so good at attacking when he's just the podcast guy and he's not trained like she was? So that was kind of weird to me. It made sense when you found out that the 80s killer, took, what did he take? He karate or something down at Bob's dojo or whatever the hell it was that she says at the mall. So that makes sense, but it didn't make sense that the podcast guy was thwarted her, somehow. But whatever, it's fine. Like we have to suspend, all of our disbelief because it's a time travel slasher film. So blah blah blah. Her, she gets attacked again, which kind of came out of nowhere. The killer showing up was always very just out of nowhere, which I liked. Like she's in the middle of talking to her friend and he just goes bloop at the carnival, the abandoned carnival. She runs in, we have the fight sequence. All of a sudden, boom, she's in 1987. Good ass year. And when I first watched it and made my comments at the end of the movie, how did we feel about her? Like, I called it like, the woke comments or something, like the her trying to tell everyone around her constantly, you can't do that, you can't say that, it made sense. It makes sense. It did get a little annoying, and I don't think I realized it until having to rewatch the movie. Because I watched the first time, I was like, yeah, like people are probably going to come for this and say it's too woke, which, calm down, get over it. It's just supposed to be fun. But then again, I'm watching it, I'm like, gosh, she keeps doing it, and it's meant to be a joke, but it's not even landing as a joke fully. And I feel like there's a lot of, that's part of the reason the middle drags so much, is there's a lot of stuff that's there to probably be funny, but it's not landing as funny to me. So it just feels like filler. Like when she first, gets there and she tells the guy, like, your shirt is problematic. And then the woman is like, I like your shirt, honey. Funny. But after like the 9th time of that happening, like, give us a different joke. Give us a different fish out of water, Gen Z trapped in the 80s joke. A couple of them worked. A lot of them didn't for me. I'm going to check the chats again. Sorry. Christine says, I loved Julie Bowen, but I really loved the accurate depiction of the 80s bullying. Yep. Brought back memories of hiding in the nurse's office. Oh my gosh. Bullying will never go away. Love that for humanity. I don't know what bullying was like in the 80s. I know what it was like in the 90s, and I'm sure it was just as bad, if not actually the 80s was probably a lot worse. Because everyone looked such a blind eye, like you were being bullied, get over it, kind of thing. Let me see. Richard G. Richard says hi. Well, he's waving, so I'm gonna assume that you're saying hi to me, Richard, and everyone else. Melissa says I didn't mind the woke comments, but I can see it getting old. Yeah, after a while, like I just wanted something different, especially if it's an hour and 45-minute movie. We could have probably taken out 15 minutes and just made it an hour and a half, like a fun, quick 90-minute movie. I was getting a little like nothing's happening. You're giving me lots of Back to the Future, like awkward comedy, meta, whatever, but it's not adding to anything. You're just giving me these moments and hoping that they land, where a lot of them, if they didn't exist in the movie would not be, you wouldn't be lost. That's not like they were like major plot points happening. The mom cutting her finger and a bunch of weird random things that like are cute, but why are they really necessary? Especially when it's throwing off the pacing of your film. Yeah, says the woke comments were funny the first time, but yes, on the second watch, I was wondering if there was a different way they could have wrote in those zingers. Unwanted touch. Yeah, like, okay. Some of them landed, some of them I was like, no, thank you. Melissa says hi to Richard. So, but fine. Like I wasn't frustrated. I know that people actually, I don't think I included this in the reaction, but I had a whole like rant at the end of my movie reaction that I just chopped out. Again, for pacing. We chop things out for timing. Where I was talking about how people came for like the Texas Chainsaw Gen Z woke situation. And they were so butthurt about it, but literally that was the point of the movie. So I wasn't super annoyed by it. Was I annoyed by the characters a little bit? Sure, but they didn't repeat any of the gags. So, you know, you're the fish out of water elements. I'm sorry that I keep saying the same thing, but I can't think of how else to describe it. Like those moments, there were slightly different moments each time. And then, you know, in the Texas Chainsaw Netflix movie that came out earlier this year, was that last year? Whenever that came out. So I understood it happening in that movie. God, she's stupid. I understood it happening in that movie. So when people were getting upset, I'm like, what did you think was going to happen? It's about a bunch of Gen Zs going to do like the gentrification thing. It's in the trailer. They show you in the trailer. And then it basically like new school meets old school. And Leatherface shows up and his brute force against your like fluffy duffy social media, whatever. That was the point of the movie. That was kind of the point of this movie too. But again, the gags it was the same gag over and over again. Ow. But yeah, I had this whole rant about how like people get upset about things that are woke when really that is the culture. That's who we are. So for someone to comment on it, okay, like horror as a genre usually comments on the time we're living in. So that's the time we're living in. That's what you're going to get. And 20 years from now, people will look back and they'll be like, oh my gosh, what stuff was so woke back then? Oh God. We look back at the 80s and we see how, I don't know, wild it was, apparently. Blech, disgusting. Every sip is terrible, you guys. Go woke, go broke. Cubbyholes. Leo is here, everyone. JK, I didn't mind the comments, be honest. There were only like 3 or 4, but I liked her sassiness before she went back in time when she told off the sheriff girl. Ow, twice. Ooh, I liked that. I liked when she was like, how would you kick that fucking killer? Needed more of that. The battle continues. Hi, Leo. Oh no, yeah, y'all have been reunited in one of these in a while. The only woke. Oh shit! I'm watching an ad on my own. Okay, whoops. The only woke about the Texas Chainsaw sequel was the gun comments. Yeah, well, it was also the gentrification thing, but people were so annoyed by it. They were so annoyed by the characters, which I think you're kind of supposed to be, but they were still rooted in some kind of reality, because that's how Gen Zs, I think, are for the most part, is like, I can change the world and old school is dead and we're going to move on and like change things and do better and blah, blah, blah. But when you're dealing with Leatherface, you just can't, you know? Skip ad. I don't need to. Yeah. Sorry. There we go. Melissa is so woke. Woke AF, y'all. Stop fighting. Stop fighting. So that's how I felt about the middle. Let me know how you guys, well, you already are letting me know, so thank you. About the middle of the movie. I also wish there was more. I think I described it as like slashering. I wanted more slashering because you get this awesome opening. Imagine if Scream happened, and this has to do with pacing and kind of like reshoots and moving stuff around. Remember, maybe you don't know, but the principal dying was not supposed to happen at first. They were going through the pacing of the movie and realized in Scream, Henry, right, Winkler's character, they realized the pacing is off and there's like nothing happening for too long period of time. So they added his death sequence. And then when they did that, Kevin Williamson even said, this is great because now it gives the kids a reason to leave the party at the end to get to our final act. So it's rearranging and changing things that they make sense in the plot of the thing and structurally. This had that amazing Julie Bowen moment, and then like maybe 30 minutes probably of nothing until we get to, it felt like that at least. It felt like a long time until we get to the girl from Scream 6. That's who else is in there. She's great. Dying at the party. So there was a big chunk of time before that happened. And a lot of the stuff that was going on like needed to be there, but a lot of it also didn't, you know? So, and then after that, it felt like another 30 minutes until we got to the attack at the cabin. So it just was so long between these attacks. When the attacks happened, they were great. I felt them, you know, but we needed a little more, or we just needed a little less, meaning we needed more of that crap chopped out, the unnecessary crap. I like the new Texas Chainsaw, but they did Sally dirty. Agreed, Leo. Agreed. I loved that they had her come back. It's not the same actress, but I loved that the character came back. But it just got weird. Like, why would we're getting off on a tangent, but why would Sally walk into a room and not shoot him? She had a gun to his head and did not kill him. And then he got up and just walked past her. Like, that moment reminds me of like a David Gordon Green Halloween trilogy moment, like which his trilogy was filled with like moments that he was like, probably this is so cool, but they were stupid. They made no sense and they were ridiculous and they had the complete opposite effect of what he wanted. That was that moment for me. It needed to be a Julie Bowen moment in that Texas Chainsaw. When the second she saw Leatherface, it was boom, and maybe something stops her from shooting him, or she shoots him and then he throws his chainsaw. Like, I love that he threw the chainsaw in that movie, by the way. But yeah, her walking up and aiming a gun at him and not shooting him was ridiculous. That dodgeball scene gave me flashbacks. Melissa says, I thought, and that's the thing too, is that the dodgeball scene was cute, but I thought it went on for too long. I was like, you're throwing a bunch of gags in there, but they're not adding to the story. I actually was a little annoyed that just kept going. Let me see. Julie was a badass in the opening. Was not expecting that either, Leo. I thought the part when Sheriff Dennis said he didn't watch Back to the Future because he doesn't watch time travel movies. They don't make any sense. I think that's what he said. It was hysterical. Yeah, see, that was all cute. And I feel like that could have even been trimmed. There were so many moments so many like jokes that kind of they let sit for a long time when it just needed to be like pium, pium, pium. I'm all for like sitting in a moment if it's necessary, but there are a lot of unnecessary moments that they sat on in that movie. Like I was gonna say liked, but I loved when they leave the party after after Scream 6 dies, and she's talking to her mom, and it's slower, but she's like, the mom is basically saying like, I know that she was a bitch and she was a bad person, but like she was my friend. And it's her getting to understand the mom. It's the mom. I mean, us getting to understand the mom a little bit. Those moments were necessary. The crystal, like, how does she convince her to trust her? And she pulls out the crystal and she's like, oh, it seems legit. Like that all made sense. Sit on that, but don't sit on like these extended, you know, oh, I'm so high and you're looking at your phone and it's totally cool. Like a bunch of weird stuff. That could just, again, I'll probably say it 1,000 more times. I'm so annoying. Melissa agrees that Sally got screwed in the new Texas Chainsaw. You took everything from me, Leatherface. I don't even know who you are. Yeah, that's basically what it was. That's exactly what it was. And after all that time to bring back that character, to just have them not even have a moment. It reminded me of the Halloween 2018 when like Lori's like, it's you, Michael. And he literally is just like, he doesn't even know who she is. Like, and even in Kills, they're like, he's going to go find Lori. No, he's wanted to go home and look out his stupid freaking window. And then in Ends, I think he was looking for her, but God, that trilogy was so bad. I heard that they're going to take away, I put my phone down and I saw something on it, so I blew it, and it sounded like something hard, but what was that? It's disgusting. Let me see. You took what are you drinking? It's like a Malibu. When I got home, I was in such a hurry to get up here because I was running late that I just put a bunch of Malibu rum and some ginger ale. It's disgusting. But today was a long day at work. I had a lot of just numbers and paperwork to do. Plus, like, our animation went up for work. But to finalize that and send over some pictures and blah, 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 blah. I have a big visit coming up on Wednesday that I don't feel fully prepared for because, like, I don't get office time. So I have office work to do at work, but I don't get office hours to do them. So I just have to fit in office work in between coaching and training and teaching and selling. And I interviewed someone today and I had to put her paperwork through to offer her a job. Like, imagine if we actually got like one office day. I would probably be a lot less stressed. When I have my big visit, which is with the vice president of our company, I will be suggesting an office day. Like, if there needs to be like a work from home situation for at least half a day, because if I can't get I'm like an OCD, structure, planning, outline. Like, I will plan everything to the T. I'll plan everything that needs to be done. I'll have a backup plan and a backup plan for that backup plan and a backup plan for that backup plan. Like, I will be ready. But every time I go to work, a million things go wrong and there's no plan, no backup for the backup, no backup for the backup for the backup, because again, I don't get office hours. So, Lee says I'm drinking moonshine tonight. Girl. Let me see. How is Tyler? He is fine. I heard a sound before. I don't know if that was him barking or something, but he should be fine. He's downstairs. I gave him some food. I'm sorry. Leo says, I did like the crystal the mom gave Jamie from the psychic was from Jamie herself. Yeah, and someone mentioned this. I'm sorry. In the fringe jacket was Jamie's jacket from the part. But yeah, that's the thing, is that would make sense. At first, what I thought was that the mom gets the crystal in her life later from a psychic that had nothing to do with Jamie giving it to her in the past. And I thought that the fringe jacket was something she gets later in her life as well, and whatever. And I thought at the end that Jamie knows this, and so she says, give these to my mom. That way her mom will still get the jacket and get the crystal, even though she was going to get them in later. That's what I thought, because it doesn't make sense otherwise, because that would mean that Jamie had already gone back before. So in the regular timeline, before Julie Bowen gets killed, that would suggest if she already had the crystal from a psychic, that was Jamie, and the fringe jacket from Jamie, that would mean that in that existing timeline, that Jamie had already gone back. That's not how time works. Like, time has to happen probably once, then you go back and you change it. So I don't know. The logic be damned, right? Your boss be like, here's some pizza. Leo, that's what they do. And I feel like that boss too, because when my team does something great, I go get them Starbucks gift cards. And I'm like, this doesn't make up for all the crap that they have to put up with, with not having full-time. We only have part-time people. So I have like great people and I can't even give them full-time hours. And so when they do great, the reward is more Starbucks gift cards. I mean, we have a bonus structure, so they might get bonus or whatever, but eventually they outgrow the role. So then they quit because they deserve promotions and better jobs. And I'm like, let's not talk about work. We're talking about Totally Killer. I'm not big on time travel themed movies. Richard, I agree. It's not like a thing that will draw me into a movie. I was not the trailer again, the trailer looked cute. Didn't look amazing. It looked cute. Reminded me of the idea from the Final Girls. Uh I like Julie Bowen, so seeing her in the trailer I was like, okay, cool. And it's Blumhouse, which means it's a hit or miss, but it'll probably be like fun enough. And then I did a poll, and I was actually really hoping to watch Practical Magic, but Totally Killer, this movie, won by 1%. So Practical Magic got 49% of the vote. 51% of the vote went to Totally Killer. So I wanted to watch Practical Magic, but I don't watch what I want to watch anymore. I watch what y'all tell me to watch, and y'all told me to watch Totally Killer. So if I have time, I'm going to try to do Practical Magic before the month is over. But I have some other like definites. Like the next one is Night of the Demons 2. We're doing Terrifier 2. The Exorcist Believer is going to be streaming in like next week, I think. So like maybe I can sneak that in there too. Time Travel Girl. Why was Doug so OP though? Who was Doug? Eric, hello. I love Totally Killer. Had some good cinematography, good humor, and a fair amount of action sequences, especially the third act carnival ride. Yes. I'm sorry, I didn't mention the visuals. It looked beautiful. God, I hate that I keep comparing it to the Final Girls. I think the Final Girls looked better. I think the decisions that were put into the color scheme and what you were like, if you watch like the commentary for the Final Girls, so much thought was put into the colors used at different moments at different times. And I love that kind of stuff. Like it wasn't an aesthetic just to be an aesthetic. It all made sense. In this movie, it kind of felt like the aesthetic was there to just be the aesthetic, but it was still bright and fun and cute. I agree that the action sequences were good. Wish there were more still, but they were good. Why was Doug so OP? Who was Doug? I still am so pissed we never got Final Girls 2. Same. I'm sorry. That was loud. But same. That bums me out. If was it Todd Strauss, I think was the director's name. If he were to come back and someone were to write like a Final Girls 2 and he were to do it, I would be like, that would be incredible. And now technically, well, no, I wouldn't want this, but was it Thaisa Farmiga? Is that her name? Who's in the Final Girls, the first one? Technically they could kill off those characters in the beginning if they wanted to and then go a different direction. The thing is, I love those characters so much, I would not want them to do that. But we deserve freaking a sequel, a follow-up. Although it's like one of those situations, kind of like Behind the Mask, the Rise of Leslie Vernon, where they promised a sequel and we don't get it. So it actually adds a lot more charm to the first movie, because I now look at, say, Hocus Pocus differently, because I wanted a sequel for so long. We finally got it, and it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. Hocus Pocus 2 is absolute trash in my opinion. And so I can watch the first one, but then I'm kind of left with this like, ugh, they ruin it in the next one, you know? OP overpowered Doug. Oh my gosh, the killer. Girl, I forgot his name. I just know that he did karate at Bob's Dojo. Leo says I'm fired. Oh, thank God. When Jamie first goes back in time, I thought my eyes was jacked due to it all looking wavy and blurry. Yeah, I was like, is this supposed to be on purpose? And then it was. So I was like, okay, cool. Which the disorienting, I think I said it looks distorted. I meant disorienting when I was doing my reaction. A lot of times I just say things and I kind of don't like realize what I'm saying, and I'm editing and I'm like, crap. So a lot of times I even chop out more than I'm saying because I will start a sentence. This happens sometimes. That's in the reaction. It happens a lot with deleted parts that you don't even interact with, that you've never seen. But I often start a sentence and then do not finish it in my reactions. Because in my mind, I know what I mean. But when I'm watching it back, I'm like, this idiot, why didn't you just finish the sentence? So I could have used that clip. Like it was a funny thought or a funny comment or an interesting take on what was happening. But I can't use it because I just didn't finish talking, you know? I heard they're making another Exorcist film called Exorcist Deceiver that's supposed to come out Easter 2025. That's 2025. Okay, I'm thinking next year. Yes, they are making Exorcist Deceiver. I heard that they are already discussing not having David Gordon Green come back, and I am very excited for that. I've only heard terrible things about The Exorcist Believer, and that's exactly what I expected. It probably has a couple good moments, and visually, the trailer looked like it had some good parts, but from what I hear, the opening like 20 minutes are great, but the opening 20 minutes are also given away in the trailer. Thank you again, Blumhouse. Back to your old tricks. And that the rest of the movie is completely boring. So if you're not going to give us like scares and interesting characters and a reason to exist, I heard that Ellen Burstyn's appearance is totally wasted. It's exactly what I expected. I expected it to be trash, and everyone's saying it's trash. And I wish I was wrong, but I will watch it. I'll watch it maybe on this channel. Yes, Thais is queen. Haven't seen the new Exorcist. We'll watch it when it's streaming. You should watch it, and then we'll all watch it together. Believer is actually a great horror movie, just not a great sequel. Oh, I'm sorry. That is what I've heard. What I've heard is, in defense of it, is this would have been a fine movie on its own, but as an Exorcist sequel, it's lacking in every way. So whether you compare it to the original Exorcist or not, it has no reason to exist in that franchise, is what I've heard. But even on its own, the best defense I've heard people say is it's fine. Like if you are to completely separate the fact that it's an Exorcist film and try to look at it objectively just as its own movie, it is still, in comparison to other horror movies or other possession movies or other whatever, it is still just kind of okay. Like I've heard no one say, wow, about anything to do with this movie. So unfortunate. Yes, it's a shame about Believer, the trailer, y'all, that scene with the little girl bursting into the church. Yeah, I was so like, wow, like this is so great. But they do a great job with these trailers. Blumhouse especially is great with trailers. But the trailer is great, but then you realize after watching the movie that they gave away the whole movie and that they just have a great marketing team and not great people editing or writing or directing these movies sometimes. Sometimes they're phenomenal, but sometimes, you can't always have a happy death day. Sometimes you get Black Christmas. It's not exactly trash. I'd say it's mid. Okay. I feel like the true villain of bad Blumhouse films are Scott Teems, who is the writer of a lot of Blumhouse films, mostly the bad ones like Halloween Ends. Ew, Firestarter. Oh, I heard that was terrible too. Melissa says, I watch bad movies all the time. I can handle fine. See, if a bad movie is going to be bad, I want it to be so bad. Even whether it's on purpose or not. Like Jaws the Revenge. I love Jaws the Revenge. I'm sorry that you're looking at two different colors of my skin. I think Jaws Revenge is so great because it's so terrible. Oh my gosh, what's another one that's so bad it's good? Poltergeist 3, I think, has a lot of charm to it. I don't know if it's a so bad it's good movie, but I think it's good to me because it's charming and I love practical effects. Night of the Demons is like purposely campy and over the top. Loved Night of the Demons. Dolly Dearest, so bad it's good, in my opinion. But then you have something like Halloween Resurrection, where it's so bad, period. And I can't deal with that. So, what else do we have? Richard says, I guess because I'm old, but Gen Z movies don't have the same magic. No, they don't. And I agree. 80s and 90s movies have a certain kind of like fun charm to them that doesn't always exist now. So when you find a good, fun horror movie today, it always is a standout. So people don't realize that you should do that a little more often. I feel like they try to do like really serious horror movies now, which I do like a good serious horror movie, but not so much when it's masked as a horror movie, like that movie Men. Who has seen that movie Men? That was uncomfortable. It was creepy, but I hated it and never want to watch it again. Like after watching these, like this great cinematography and great directing and creepy atmosphere and amazing performances, and then to get the last 10 minutes of that movie, trash. Like, what are you talking about? Like, there was no fun to be had there. Exorcist Believer has phenomenal cinematography and a good storyline, but then falls apart in the second act. Also, they completely disrespect Ellen Kip. Okay, this is what David Gordon Green does. He brings back legacy characters and then he shits on them. That's what he did in Halloween Kills with basically every single character. He even said Denise Richards' character was supposed to die in Kills. I forgot why they changed their mind last minute and had that scene when she's like in the hospital being wheeled away. She had a longer chase sequence that they also chopped down. But like what? God, he just doesn't know. He knows how to aesthetically make something look like it's a part of the franchise. Like if you look at the 2018 movie and Kills and Ends, there are a lot of homages visually to the other movies that you're like, this is a Halloween movie, but the feel is not there. The character development is not there. The storylines all go in the worst possible directions, and he shits on every character, especially the legacy characters. Why bring back Charles Cyphers as the as the Sheriff Brackett, to give him 2 lines, one of which he says to Michael that is so cringe because it had no significance. I mean, it has significance to us as viewers when watching the first movie when he says, everyone's entitled to one good scare, but it has no significance to him in his life as the character. So to just throw it in there in this one moment where he's like, hey, Michael, everyone's attacked, stupid. And then you kill him anyway. And then you kill Nancy Stevens, who played, Nurse Marion, the smoking nurse. And then you bring back that couple from the 2018 film and you kill them off too. Then you bring back Tommy and you make him a piece of garbage and the most annoying character in the world, and you kill him too. Whoa, what is going on? It's just so bad. Like bad. Sorry, tangents. Speaking of trailers, I'm so pissed. Slay's Giving, Thanksgiving. Movie gave away so many deaths. Oh, I won't watch that trailer then. Thank you. I only watched the teaser so far. I thought I was loving the trailer, and then it ended and went, well, that was a good movie. Every time. He just doesn't know what to do with his legacy characters. Yeah, so then don't give him franchises anymore. I'm sure Ellen Burstyn comes back and has a couple cute moments, and then she interacts with the demon, and the demon freaking twists her head backwards or something. Like, I'm sure, don't tell me, I'll watch the movie. But, like, I expect it to be the most disrespectful end to her character. Because he is a terrible filmmaker. Oh, no. Go back, James. There we go. The chat. Okay, like when all the characters in Believer came together, or like that's not for real. Can you, if Leo, if there's a moment where all the characters come together to say it's believing time, I'm going to choke. I will gag and then die. I prefer Rob Zombie's to David Gordon. Yeah. Rob Zombie's Halloween. We're going off from Totally Killer, but that's fine. I like this. Rob Zombie's Halloween is exhausting to me. It is 2 separate movies essentially crammed into one. I feel like the backstory elements are so jarring, but some of them are really interesting. Like when he kills that kid in the woods, that Spy Kids kid, Megan Trainor's husband or whatever. When he kills him in the woods, I was like, this is cool. I'm getting where this is going. The thing is, his evolution seems to happen very quickly into Crazy Michael. And then when they cut to the present day, whatever year it was taking place, I don't even know, when we get Michael, like we get Laurie and we get the return of Danielle Harris. Thank you for doing that as well. It felt like a lesser version of the original, but it was his own take on it. And although I find it exhausting, I feel like there were some decent things brought to it, great performances. I love that he always brings back horror actors. So my cup of tea to rewatch, no, but it didn't leave me angry. It didn't leave me going, what the hell did you just do? It left me going, whoa, that was a lot, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, I don't like the theatrical cut. It just doesn't make any sense. The director's cut is great, in my opinion. It's like this long 2-hour horror tragedy. Like every character is depressed and angry and sad and going through the motions, and you're seeing different kind of everyone deal with their grief in a different way. And then it all comes together in this big climactic weird situation. I don't love that Michael speaks at the end of the director's cut, but besides that, and then I love that we get the Love Hurts song at the end. after they kill like I feel like those movies, as crazy as they are, and again as exhausting as they are, still made more sense and took the franchise in a direction that was more satisfying than what David Gordon Green was giving us. That's just me. Let me see. Y'all better not be spoiling anything. It's definitely something near to that. The thing you mentioned about Ellen's character. No, Eric, don't tell me that. Rob Zombie needs to stick to music and stay away from making horror movies. Yeah, I don't like most of his movies. His movies are like a one-time watch, if anything else. Although I've heard that, what's it called? Something of Salem. He has a movie, Something of Salem. I forgot the name. I've heard that that's actually really good. Rob Zombie needs to, okay, they made Ellen seem very dumb for a specific moment. Okay, well, I did like House of a Thousand Corpses. My favorite Exorcist movie is Repossessed. I haven't seen that. Halloween 2018 was so incredible. I hate that Kills and Ends were added. 2018. Lords of Salem. Thank you. Oh, it's an acquired taste. I've heard it's good, but I mean, I don't seek out his movies, so maybe I'll watch it someday. Honestly, the 2018 Halloween film I liked. No, that's a lie. When I watched the Halloween 2018 movie, I did not like it. I went to like an advanced screening. I was over the moon excited, and I walked out going, huh. Like, I have no feelings. I wasn't scared. I wasn't excited. I think I chuckled once or twice. I just was completely like no emotion for the entirety of that film. And I was like, that's weird. Then I went to the theater and I watched it again. And I left and I felt the same exact thing. I was like, this is so strange. So a third time, I went 3 times to see it in theaters because I'm like, this can't be. Like, I'm getting no emotion, no emotional response from this movie. And so after the third time, I was like, no, I don't like this movie. So I told everyone I don't like this movie. I did a whole review about it, which I don't do reviews anymore because this is more fun. Talking and doing them live is more fun than me having to like sit and watch myself and then edit, blah, blah, blah. But that review exists. I haven't watched it in many years. But a lot of the moments didn't hit right for me. The music was used at weird moments. Again, like the story structure, and it was just such a weird disconnect for me. So now I like the movie, but I like it as like a high budget fan film. That's how I look at it. So if like a fan film got to get made, that was like a what if scenario, and they were given money and Jamie Lee Curtis came back. Fan film. That's Halloween 2018. I wish they had killed Michael for reals, because Kills, although people love Kills, and again, aesthetically, great, the movie serves no purpose. They say that he's just a man in the previous movie, but then Kills says he's more than a man. And then they, in the same movie, say, no, he is a man. And at the end of the movie say, no, just kidding, he's actually more than a man again. Let's talk about flaws. So I was like, this is stupid. This is all stupid. You could have just taken Kills and Ends and put them together into one thing, have the end of Kills, take out the whole part with the mob and them chasing the wrong person. If you want to have the mob thing, that's great, but don't have them chasing this one random guy. Like, that was stupid. But they should have had like the mob happen and someone accidentally die in the mob. And then they realize like, oh my God, we've gone too far. Not like chase this person over the hospital, the dumbest freaking thing. And then end with Laurie and Michael finally confronting each other. And, you know, you can have it end the way that they ended it in Ends. You know, grinding machine, big fight, whatever the hell you want to do. And then have maybe the character of Corey introduced. Maybe he's part of this mob in Kills. Like maybe, I don't know, whatever you want to do. And then have a spin-off movie where Corey is the main person in the spin-off. And the whole movie you think that Michael's back. And then you find out it's like I don't know, because what else are you going to do? Like a freaking Friday the 13th New Beginning, where at the end you're like, oh my gosh, it was actually Corey the whole time. Like, that would have made more sense than having a movie called Halloween Ends that markets itself as being the definitive end of the franchise with Laurie and Michael when they literally only see each other for 5 seconds. Sorry, I hate those movies. We finish off with New Nightmare. Period. That's on period. We finish off with New Nightmare. That sounds dirty. New Nightmare. I love New Nightmare. We just celebrated the anniversary a couple days ago of New Nightmare. If you follow my Instagram, which I think all of you do, I post about it. I usually do like I was doing for a while, one post every couple days. I was like, you know what? I keep getting tagged in all these cool stacks, like these stack ideas, like, you know, an ABC stack or like a orange stack or this stack, a October stack. And I'm like, I just keep not doing them because I only post every couple days. So I started posting every day. And then this weekend, I posted like 2 or 3 things a day because we had Friday the 13th and the Halloween 5 anniversary in the same day. The next day was the New Nightmare anniversary, but the aesthetic of my page and my OCD is that it's a movie, then a stack. So movie stack, movie stack, movie stack. So I couldn't post the New Nightmare tape until posting a stack. So you got 2 posts on Friday. You got technically 3 posts because I also posted a video on Saturday. Then I posted yesterday. So many posts, posts on posts on posts. But totally killer. Sorry, we got off on so many tangents. Halloween Ends had horrible marketing. They knew the film wasn't going to be good. It made $105 million against 133, 144. Yeah, well, because they're stupid. You better wear it. I want my coffee mug. Evil dies tonight. I'm done with you all. I'm done with you all. So totally killer. We said loved the beginning, loved Julie Bowen. The middle kind of for me dragged a little bit. Liked most of the jokes, but then they kind of were the same jokes over and over again. Not enough slashering. I liked that it was like a twisty twist where you found out who the killer was, but then there's another killer, you know. Although again, when you find out who that second killer is, it doesn't make sense how that old man podcast person was able to get Julie Bowen in the beginning of the movie because she was so ready and he was just this old podcast man. But whatever, it's cool. Then the movie finally kind of went somewhere with the carnival stuff. Poor was it Margaret? What was the girl's name who was going to go give BJ's in the mirror house? What was her name? I loved her. And I was so happy for like 2 seconds, but she didn't die. And I'm like, oh, maybe in the future we see like an older. No, he still freaking comes out and goes blah and kills her. But then it like picks up and we get more fighting and this and that, whatever. We get that cool situation in the, what was it called again? Something drop. The anti-gravity ride thing. Although it still seemed a little, anticlimactic when she's like, you're going to die in my effing time machine. I was like, yes. And then he goes poof, and turns into that pink mist. Like I think Doug earlier described in a video game. And I was like, that's not what I wanted. Like it's a cute throwback that you just gave me, but I didn't want that. I wanted his blood and guts everywhere. And then we get everything wrapped up in a bow at the end, which was nice. It was like, oh, cute, but I don't know. It was just like fine. Everything ended just fine. Besides, like the movie started off amazing, had some cute moments, and then at the end of the day, it was cute. It was fine to me. Repossessed. I can't with you guys. I really can't. Repossessed. Like what song are we doing? The Ending Totally Killer with the new brother that had her name and hers had something to do with. That was funny. Yes, I did like that. Her name was like Colette at the end. Her plan to keep her parents from having sex failed. Yep. I heard the Totally Killer was going to be released in theaters, but Blumhouse didn't want it to compete with Believer, which was a horrible choice. Wow. Why wouldn't you want to monopolize that? Do both. Make the money off of both. The thing is, I don't think the movie would have gotten because it was streaming. I think it was an easier thing for people to be like, yeah, I'll watch that. Where if you did put it in theaters, it probably wouldn't have made too much, but it probably would have made up for what Believer lost. Because the fact that Believer just came out, this big iconic return to this franchise, and it's already going to be streaming in like 5 seconds, they realized how bad that was. They did a bad job. That's it. What else do you guys want to talk about for Totally Killer or The Final Girls? Because I love The Final Girls. I'm trying to think. I didn't get to prep any notes today. Like when I had my lunch break and I keep choking. I was going to use my lunch break to prep notes for this to have like some bullet points and stuff. And instead, I watched Ashley Burton watch Friday the 13th Part 3. So I watched a movie reaction instead because I'm a big stupid person. But I do still love these movie reactions. So can't stop, won't stop. Who's everyone's favorite reactors? Besides shut up, James. You need to watch Repossessed. Leo, get off my back. I still have to watch Last Night in Soho for you. I know. Repossessed. I'll watch. I'll run it by Blockbusted videos, and if he says I will like it, then I will also watch Repossessed. Are you ever gonna watch The Red Door? I want to. It's always on my list, and I keep bumping it because I just keep hearing it's meh. So I probably will, but I think I'll do it when there's kind of nothing else going on. Like I said before, I've got Night of the Demons 2 coming. Then we're doing Terrifier 2. I want to do Practical Magic. I want to do Exorcist Believer. Then we're getting in November, I'm probably gonna do VHS. I want to do Black Friday, the Bruce Campbell movie with Devon Sawa. I also I'm gonna do Blood Rage, which is a Thanksgiving themed movie. We're still doing all of the rest of the Silent Night movies in December. So I want to be able to squeeze in other movies, and maybe I'll get to, but at right now, it's not like at the top of my list, unfortunately. I am considering Leo's suggestion of a Patreon. I actually reached out to a couple people, some other reactors that you guys all watch too, and asked their opinion, and they were very blunt and honest. So thank you to them. And it might happen sooner than later, not like this year, but I'm thinking that certain reactions like that will be reserved for a Patreon. Because the big thing is I can sit and I can have a great time watching a movie, but it is the time it takes to edit the reaction. Like it's about a day and a half worth. I was watching Nick Says Boo, one of his lives, and he said it takes about 20 hours to edit a video. And I was like, I messaged him, I was like, thank you for saying that, because I feel so crazy when I could wake up and start editing at 8 o'clock in the morning. And by 9 or 10 o'clock at night, I probably maybe had a meal, probably not. And am not done editing. So to hear that he has the same issue where it just takes him so long to edit, and we have other jobs, like we have actual, like, like I work full time. I'm a store manager. I have other crap I would not like to be doing, but I have to do. It's the editing part. So if I could have a platform where I could just post the unedited reaction, which would be Patreon, you'd get a lot more reactions that way. So like I'm going to do, for instance, VHS on this channel on YouTube. I'm going to do probably VHS 2. And then if I'm like, hey, you know what? I think I'll watch the rest of them. You might get 3, 4, 5, 6. There's like 7 of them right now, right? They might all be Patreon because I can watch them and post it. And then I don't need to spend 20 hours each. Okay. That's 2, 4, 6, 8. That's like weeks worth of editing just for a couple movie reactions. So Leo will finally get his wish. Let me see. Ashley watched Hellraiser today. I have to watch her Hellraiser, and then she watched something else. The Others. I saw that she posted The Others like last week, so I have to watch her watch Hellraiser and The Others. Ashley Burton, she's great. Oh, Leo says not you, meaning I'm not I'm not his favorite. That's not period. Red Door was great cinematography, but once again, Mr. Teams, the writer, he wrote that crap too. I heard it wasn't good. I heard it just was blah. I heard the whole thing was just blah. Let me see. Repossessed was a funny spoof. Wait, is that the one with Linda Blair? Is that the one where she actually comes back and it's like a comedy? Is Leslie Nielsen in that? Let me see. Are you watching the Chucky TV series on your own? I'm not. See, that was also supposed to happen. An hour and a half movie takes me about 20 hours to edit, right? So imagine how long a season of a show is going to take. But if I still do want to get through. I haven't watched season 2 and I'm not watching season 3 because I've been saving them as reactions. I haven't gotten to watch them at all. If I can still post like a binge watch of like Chucky season 2, like maybe like Chucky season 2 part 1 and Chucky season 2 part 2 kind of thing, then God, I just wish I had more time. I wish I had more time. If I was home every day, reaction after reaction after reaction. And the thing is, everyone that I talk to, and I'm like, why is my channel like not blowing up like all your channels? They post so much more stuff. You can go to like Petty Pumpkins and they've got freaking a reaction every single day. Like I can't do that. So I'm trying to figure out what to do with TV shows. They seem very unrealistic because of the sense of urgency. Like it comes out, I'd have to film it the day it came out and then have like the next day off to edit it to maybe have it done for 2 or 3 days later, you know, like it's just a big bummer. Leo says Patreon, whoop, whoop. We have a managing queen. Plus I can support you monthly because girl is broke this month. Hey, same. So she broke always. Yes, Linda Blair and Leslie Nielsen are in it. So it's a comedy. I think I've seen like clips and stuff. Maybe I'll watch that, but that would be like a Patreon thing. Wouldn't that be like a fun Patreon watch? Repossessed. But yeah, that'll be what I'm thinking. I'll throw my ideas out there, right? Would be like, I don't know. I need to look at like what prices people do. I'd be like $1 or $2 a month, right? Like would be sufficient for like you get all these extra reactions, right? That's not like doesn't need to be a ton of money. And then I was looking at like Nick Says Boo to get like an idea of what he does. His vibe and his everything is the closest to what I feel like I offer. He's funnier and I feel like more interesting than me in a lot of ways, and his skin is way better. But like his like aesthetic and stuff is kind of similar to mine. And he had like some really low prices for, you know, monthly or whatever for all these reactions. And then it was like, he had like one that was like $25 a month. And I was like, what the hell is that? But I think he limits it where you can have like one a month. Someone can pay 25 bucks and it's like, you get to choose a movie that he watches and he has to watch that movie that month. And there was one that was like 50 bucks a month. And I think he only has like 1 or 2 people that can do that. And those people get to also choose a movie and something else and whatever. So like, I don't think we'll see. But I'd love to have a tier that's like everyone gets like all of the regular movie reaction videos, right? And then have like an elevated tier. Oh, I had notes in my phone. Because I mean, I should run this by y'all if you think it's even worth doing. I want to wait. Reviews, thanks. Early access to reactions. Oh, well, this is if it was going to be YouTube memberships, which YouTube takes about 30% of whatever I make. So even when you give like $3, I get $2. So with Patreon, they take like a portion of a percentage. So it just makes more sense to do that. Badges. Oh, reaction polls. So like when you were on Patreon, like I would do most of my polls there and only do a couple of the polls on YouTube going forward. Community chats, the elevated monthly, whatever would be for like a monthly raffle. And you're just automatically in there if you have that elevated membership. Live movie commentaries. So like we would do, instead of just having like reactions go up that are just me watching the movie as like a watch along, there'd be live watch alongs. So we could do those exclusive lives. So we would do more lives than what's happening here. Like maybe this would become like a once a month, and then that would be the weekly live. I put welcome package, choose a live topic discussion. Oh, that's a good idea. See, if I don't put these things in my notes, I would forget that I even was doing these. I even have one that says be a live co-host. So I probably would have like, that'd be the one that'd be like a big one, like the $50 a month. One person is like, and we'll do like a situation together. We just go live and chat the whole time. But those are like ideas. Those are ideas. This is not happening right now. Let me see. I don't watch TV shows anymore, but I love watching reactions to them. Get everything I need. Yeah, that's true. There's a cameo at the end of. I'm not going to watch the cameo. Jamesy, I now stay at home. I'm now staying home, mom. I said what I said. Jamesy. Oh, Jamesy is now a stay-at-home mom. I am. I don't want to go to work. I support horror bandwagon. You can have different tiers. Their most expensive is $12, and I do that. Oh, okay, cool. James, I always compare you and Nick. Both of you complete individuals and amazing. Love you both. Thank you so much. But your style is similar, and that's why I started watching you. Love the details and reaction. Yeah, I just feel like aesthetically, like the visuals and stuff behind us, our sense of humor are similar. And I watch more of his lives now. They're always long. His are like 3-4 hours long, which I'm kind of thinking I might do few eventually. I love doing our weeklies, so for now it's staying weekly. But eventually, I think I want to do like once a month and have them be like big epic lives. But he is a supporter of Halloween 6, period. He is a supporter of New Nightmare. He said it's the best one in the franchise, period. We have a lot of the same opinions on things too. So I'd be willing to do the $12 for you or whatever you decide. Thank you so much. I love a good poll. Bitch, get out of here. Live watch alongs sound dope. Like, wouldn't that be fun? Because if I'm doing a reaction alone and then posting it for you guys to watch, that's fine. But I think the lives would be a lot more fun. Anything? Oh, in the chat, I just put again the Face of Horror competition voting. So just in case you didn't vote before, the voting is back up. It stopped for a couple days because y'all helped me get to the next round. But now it's scary because they combined a bunch of the rounds and a bunch of the groups. There's like a bunch of different groups, and each separate group, they took the top person. So I got top in my group because of you all. They combined everyone into, I think, fewer groups. And now I'm like, I looked, I was like 12th place, and then 8th place, and then 9th place, and then 5th, and then 7th. So like it's day one of the voting coming back. So it's going to fluctuate and stuff. But please do the free voting. It's every single day. And I'll be bugging you guys. I'm always on Instagram, right? Talking about it and stuff. Let me see. I love Joe Bob's Last Drive-In on Shudder. He has so many cheesy movies. I know, I love him. Is that your OnlyFans link? Yeah, it's the OnlyFans link, and you should probably donate as much as possible to that link. But if you do donate to the Face of Horror situation, it doesn't go to me. It goes to, this is obnoxious, you guys. This is ridiculous. It goes to here. The B Plus Foundation, which is for families dealing with pancreatic cancer. So it supports them. It supports that, which is great, but it also gets me more votes. So if you vote $10 or donate $10, I think it's like 10 votes. Then they do double points days. On the double points days, that's the day to like invest if you were going to. So any money, any super chats y'all were thinking of doing today, if you want to contribute those to Face of Horror, I would actually greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Melissa, for that idea, because that I think is what bumped me into first place last week. So anyway, oh, it says an ad popped up. I think you're all looking at an ad right now. Oh, can't I see what you're looking at? Oh no, I closed it. Oh dear. How do we get to the chat? Found it. He's finally atop. Leo, you're ridiculous. Richard says, wow. Melissa says, I made it back. Yay! I made it back just in time for me to leave. But thank you, Melissa, because it was your idea to do the donations thing, and that worked very well. So if you were going to add any super chats to this because you just love me and want to support me financially, thank you so much. And Tyler, really, it's Tyler. Put those donations toward the Face of Horror competition in support of moi, because that will help me secure the first place spot, because like I really need this, you guys. And other than that, thank you for talking about Totally Killer with me tonight. I'm next week, or sorry, this week, really, this weekend, you're getting the Night of the Demons 2 reaction. And then the week after, you'll be getting at least Terrifier 2. But I'm trying to pump out a bunch of reactions. It just depends on how much time I have. But Terrifier 2 is the number one priority. That's going to be like the Halloween weekend reaction, is Terrifier 2. If I can do Practical Magic, I will. If I can do Exorcist Believer, I will. If I can do a Halloween ranking I want to do, I will do that as well. But just know that Terrifier 2 is happening before the end of this month. I keep looking here and seeing no chat, and I realize I have to go down here. Donate to a Jamesy in need. Thank you. In the arms of the Jamesy. I've been giving you the 2 votes since the beginning. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. Okay, I'm really going to go for real, you guys. You're all the best. Thank you so much for dealing with my ridiculousness and stupidity. That's all. Bug me on Instagram and stuff. I love talking to you guys besides just here. So I'm going to say good night. I'm going to go see what Tyler is doing, and goodbye.